So on this channel, most of the time, I obviously talk about Bleeding Gums Wrestling, uh, and mostly deathmatch stuff. Obviously, I've delved into stuff in Japan as well and stuff down south with like TNT and Rise, but that's mainly my main deal. However, I have rarely delved into what's happening in Glasgow. Obviously, I live in Perth on the sort of more central east coast side of Scotland, and Glasgow's obviously on the west. But right now, you could say Glasgow is probably the hot point right now for wrestling in Scotland, especially with well, I've realised the amount of companies running in and around the Glasgow area, which is something I never really looked at. I mean, I think once on this channel we did talk about ICW Insane Championship Wrestling. They did a show with a death match in it, so obviously I went along to have a look and I did a review. If you want to go check out that video on the Wait and Bleed show from last year, I think it was. But apart from that, I've barely ever talked about whatever happens in Glasgow because I'm obviously more involved with obviously the more the deathmatch stuff and obviously with Bleeding Gums. But as I say in this video, I've decided to have a little look at it. I said my knowledge of the scene in Glasgow is, I wouldn't say limited, but if you want to leave any sort of information, anything that I missed out in the comment section, please go ahead. But I was just looking at sort of the main players, sort of the main companies running in Glasgow. Obviously, we've got Insane Championship Wrestling, which has been running since 2006, started by Mark Dallas, who's obviously not there anymore. I think it's Jack Jester that's running that show. Again, any information I've got wrong, please put in the comment section. But they are sort of the main, sort of most well-known company, not just in Glasgow, but I think all of Scotland, so it is. Obviously, they're known down south. They have run the odd show down south as well. You've also got other companies though. So you've got Valor as well, who they've been going since 2016. Now, originally, if my information is correct, they come from Copenhagen in Denmark, a city that I've been to many times and love. But obviously they run a lot of shows in Glasgow now, and that goes through Lou King Sharp as well. I think he's a big hand helping running that company in Glasgow, and they run at the Grand Ole Opry, which we have been to with Bleeding Gums. Great fucking venue. We've also got Community Pro Wrestling, which I think is run by Ravy Davey, and is a family-friendly sort of pro wrestling show. So it is running in Glasgow and about the Glasgow area. And they also help, I don't know if they're still doing it, but they also help with sort of giving classes for young kids as well who love professional wrestling. But they also, I want to say that they also run. Well, so it's one of the newest companies in Scotland. They're going to be running their first show soon. It is the Hardcore Wrestling from Glasgow, Scotland's most newest adult-only company, and they're going to be running their first show. Let me just get this right. Let's go. Where's all my bloody details here? Yes. So 23rd of March at the Fairfield Club. And so far, the big name I've seen now is Millie McKenzie's going to be, I think, at that show, and they're going to be running a over 18. I don't think it's going to be deathmatch stuff, but it's an over 18 show. So hopefully that goes well for them. Also, and lastly, we've also got Iron Girders, who run in Gallowgate their own wrestling gym. It actually looks very, very nice, and they run a lot of shows around the Glasgow area, mainly in places like Parkhead, Motherwell. They're going to be running a show actually in where my parents are from, Cope Bridge. It's okay. They've also been going since 2017 as well. And also, I forgot to say, CPW, Community Pro Wrestling, they've been going since 2021. So, yeah, that's a lot of companies to be running in Glasgow, so it is. Quite interesting. But also, I mean, there's pros and cons, I feel, to this. Obviously, the pros to it is more wrestling, the fucking better. And obviously, it's great for the talent. Have more companies to get booked, so they get more money and they get seen more by more people, and that's great for them. And it's great for the fans to have such a great choice of companies to choose from. But obviously, the cons you would say to it as well, especially in the city of Glasgow, I want to say the population is over 620,000. Again, you can correct me if you want. Some would say maybe that is an oversaturation. And I've also noticed recently as well, I wouldn't call it beef, but certain companies may be getting, I won't say annoyed at each other, but obviously say that there seems to be certain companies that see themselves above others. I just feel like this video I want to not bring up just the drama of it all. I mean, as I say, in Glasgow, it's great to have so many companies being involved in the scene, and as I say, it seems to be the hot point, the place to sort of the main central place for wrestling in Scotland. I would say the only other biggest companies outside of that would be Discovery in Edinburgh, who do great fucking numbers. Obviously, they've got great talent over there. Obviously, their connections with Joe Hendry helps them a lot as well, and obviously they bring in great stars from down south as well, and they've had American names too, so they do quite well for themselves. And obviously on the Tayside area, you've got obviously Bleeding Gums, who run sort of the Fife Tayside area now that we're running more shows in Perth and Dundee. And then you've also got FCW and SWE as well running in the Tayside area, more family friendly shows as well, which is obviously, again, it's great to have so many fucking companies now in Scotland. Such a great choice for everybody from family friendly to over 18 hardcore stuff to deathmatch stuff that we do at Bleeding Gums Wrestling. But I say in Glasgow, that's quite a few different companies there fighting for your fucking money and for your tickets. And I want to see all those companies do well. But I have noticed recently some certain videos and certain things popping up that is just, I don't know, people, I mean, we don't know what's going on, do we? And if I'm going to point this out, is there something going on right now with Insane Championship Wrestling and Valor right now? Obviously, Valor doing quite well. Bleeding Gums have worked with Valor before, doing the Backlash show with obviously W3L, Mike Mercer's fucking company. Really, really nice guy, really good guy, very professional, love that guy. But recently, last year, I remember seeing a clip of Valor Chris Renfrew making his appearance with Knack.
My name is Chris Renfrew! I give you every part of my heart, body and soul. I was involved in every single aspect of this revolution. I was the fucking creative mind behind that revolution! They fucking sell out! Couldn't give a fuck about appearing on the WWE Network!
Trying to bring that up. I don't know what's happened with him recently. I've not heard anything about it, but he obviously made a reference, I think, about Insane Championship Wrestling in one of his promos, and more recently at Insane Championship Wrestling, Rudo coming back, and he obviously made a reference to not any companies in particular, not by name. Nobody seems to be going by name right now, just little hints. He made a reference to more rogue wrestling companies.
You see, we've got rogue wrestling companies now, trying to set up everywhere, trying to steal your patch. That would never, ever, ever have happened under me. Maybe I'll save ICW, maybe I'll build ICW back up to what it once was, which is something you can't do.
But now, I don't know if he's referencing just the companies in Glasgow or as a whole in Scotland. We don't really know. But if you watch one of the most recent shows in Insane Championship Wrestling, Square Go, which I did watch, he did come on after there was a post about him apparently being kicked out of ICW. He came back obviously and made a reference about an 8-minute taxi journey to a certain address.
In the next chapter of this story, you need to be very careful about your next move, because I checked my phone. You know, it's only 8 minutes in a taxi from Sucky Hall Street to Paisley Road West.
And that address was the Grand Ole Opry venue, which Valor run in. Quick little Google fucking Maps solved that one, so it did, putting in that address. So that was also quite interesting to hear about. They did the next show for Insane Championship Wrestling. That name of that show is We Run This Town, I think is the name of that show. I don't know if that's another maybe reference to what's going on in Glasgow, but it seems to be kind of interesting. I mean, you don't want to see any real beef between countries. I think everyone should just get on with their business and get on with making great shows and great wrestling for everybody. But also at the same time, it just from someone who's kind of looking from the outside in, it is kind of interesting to see and see how this all fucking plays out, obviously, for us who aren't really involved in it. As I say, I mainly work with Bleeding Comes Wrestling. We're kind of, as a deathmatch company, it's called, we're kind of on our own little island, which is quite nice. So we've worked with W3L and Valor in Glasgow as well. But as I say, I want to get back to all these companies in Glasgow, and I say, I've also noticed as well, more and more companies are running over 18 shows. Now, I don't know if that's because of maybe other companies doing it as well and trying to see how that goes. ICW obviously run a lot of over 18 shows. Obviously, we've got now Hardcore Wrestling of Glasgow, who is adult only, that'll be over 18. We've had Iron Girders as well run the odd over 18 show too, to see how that goes. Which again is great as long as it's properly done. I mean, if you're going to go over 18, go for it. Go all out for it. You know, just like give the adults what they fucking want. But yeah, as I say, like there seems to be a lot going on right now in Glasgow, so we'll keep an eye on it, because I say I don't really report a lot on what's going on in Glasgow. I said I've only ever been to the one ICW show, which, if I had to be honest, was a bit of a disappointment, so it was. But as I say, you know, they have their crowd, you know, they have their fans. Obviously, they are the biggest company, they're the biggest company in Scotland. They've got obviously a great production value as well. Obviously, their connections that they used to be on the WWE network too. But as I say, it's sort of new management there, and I think they're trying to bring back the golden days of what ICW used to be about. That's what I've heard. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. But I just wanted to sort of bring this up as a video today, and just sort of maybe get your views in the comment section of what you think about all of this and the scene in Glasgow, and how who's your favorite company, and what shows you enjoy the most, who to look out for. You know, who do you think puts on a great production value of a show? I know some of these, they've got some interesting venues in Glasgow, so they do. I've only really been to the Asylum once, quite a small venue. They do make it look pretty. And then you've got, I think the Grand Ole Opry, I think it's a fantastic venue. I think that looks different. It looks interesting. I quite enjoy that. I've never been to any of the venues that Iron Girls have run. I've seen pictures of the gym in Gallowgate. That looks really nice, by the way. That looks like a really, really good gym. And obviously, Hardcore Wrestling of Glasgow have yet to run their first show, but I will be keeping an eye. I don't know if I'll be able to make that show, unless, you know, the people at Hardcore Wrestling of Glasgow want to give me, you know, a free ticket and maybe hook me up so I can go, if they want me to review their shows. And if any of these companies, wait a bit, I'm going to shout that out right now. Any of these companies that want to get in contact with me to come to their shows and to review any of these fucking shows, so I can be more involved in the Glasgow scene, I would be more than happy to do that. But as I said, just wanted to sort of bring this up because it was just something I just noticed the other day. I mean, is it too much wrestling? Is it just enough? Is it... Again, what are your views? Give me your views down in the comment section. Please keep it nice as well. As I say, I'm still kind of, I'm mainly based myself in deathmatch wrestling and maybe stuff in Japan, and obviously stuff down south with Fries and TNT and stuff like that. So yeah, if people want to sort of give me some knowledge on what's happening in Glasgow, and yeah, as I say, I'm just having my early morning coffee. I'm probably going to hit the gym soon as well at some point. Anyways, I hope you guys have a smashing day today, and I will get back to you with another video. Cheers.
We are Glasgow. Glasgow.